Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're taking a look at an archive from NEXZ. It is their behind the scenes of their take of Drop, choreographed by KIRSTEN. So I really enjoyed the video of them, and I did a full dance analysis, and I'll try to attach it in the description of this one for YouTube. And I really enjoyed it, and I love seeing a lot of breaking elements and a lot of hip-hop foundation and play throughout, and I think KIRSTEN did a fantastic job choreographically with the type of track it is. So I am looking forward to seeing what kind of behind the scenes this is going to be, because I've heard a lot of people say that this is very enjoyable to watch. So, and for me, I really do enjoy behind the scenes because you end up, I don't know, you get to learn something new about a different facet of the industry that you may not, you know, normally experience in your day-to-day. So that's kind of fun, and we're gonna see that here. So let's go ahead and check it out. Oh, they must be so nervous. Tomoya. You. Haru. Look at her with her vest. Ken. Sita. Yuki. For 6 days.
And year 1 is sick. What do you mean by sick? Yeah.
Gambare.
So your intention is I'm gonna have fun. So your intention in this part is to be like more cool and cheeky with your movement.
More cool and cheeky.
We just need chaos. Crazy, 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 crazy. Crazy, crazy. So really try and get the out in. Warm, warm, ha, ha, ha. I like this. You can.
No, low-key me. No, for real.
Okay.
She's probably choreographing the moment. You want to know something interesting? I don't know if you guys know this, but with, I don't know how KIRSTEN, I'm so curious as to how she choreographs, because here's the kicker. Royal Family Paris, so Paris, of course, is the one who kind of incepted Request Crew, and then Royal Family, KIRSTEN did a huge stint with Royal Family, and she's done a lot of her work under Paris. And now she's able to, you know, she's really been able to make a name for herself, and I'm so happy for her for that. And what's so interesting is that how Paris choreographs is on the spot in the moment based on the vibe of the space. And so I am curious, I'm assuming that's what KIRSTEN has gleaned in that way. So there's a chance for some of that involved here where she kind of has a schema or like a framework, but then she may go over the details or make the details in-house like while it's happening, just to get a good sense of the gist of the guys and kind of see what kind of toolkit they have. And that's being very, you know, for me, I do that too, but I'm with a lot of my kids. I'm very used to them in the space, and so we're able to have that kind of relationship where I know their toolkit. Sorry. So I'm able to make those kinds of choices a little bit easier. And then, like, I don't have nearly as much experience working with people in contracts. I mean, I do in the show choir world and singers, essentially, but it's a very different culture, different requirements, and different structure. For like a dance concept, though, I haven't really participated or done a concept where I'm in charge of choreographing for a group where their primary language is not English, I think is my case. So I think this is so interesting and fascinating to see this kind of like worlds collide a little bit in my brain. This is cool. Yeah. I like that they're helping each other. That's good. Wow. Oh. His was so freaking clean, though. Wow. It was giving a little K-pop challenge from Street Woman Fighter. Love that. Adding little extra moves. I think they ended up putting that in the final take too, which is fun. Love it.
Thank you guys so much.
Sweet dreams.
See you tomorrow.
They translated that, thank you so much. But she said sweet dreams. Rest well, pretty much. You're too close.
네, 저는 오늘 처음 와서 잠시만요, 다시 갈게요. 네, 테이크 2 수고하셨습니다. 처음으로 뭔가 외국인 그 댄서분들께서 뭔가 가르쳐주시고 그렇게 배울 수 있어서 너무 영광이었던 것 같고 내일도 파이팅 하겠습니다. 네.
못하는 거나 네, 그런 모습에 자기가 더 연습해야겠다라는 생각이 들었습니다. 열심히 요청 가지고 열심히 하겠습니다.
오, 기대하겠습니다. 그럼 유팀.
네.
유팀입니다.
네, 유키입니다. 안녕하세요. 너무 재밌었어요. 진짜 재밌었고
뭔가 웃기네. 뭔가 웃겨.
지금까지 배워본 적이 없는 뭔가 새로운 스타일의 새로운 장르의 춤을 배울 수 있어서 좋은 시간이었던 것 같습니다.
어땠어요? 저는 그 계속 영상에서 보다가 오늘 이렇게 처음으로 봤는데 진짜
But that was really fun.
했었는데 뭔가 춤추다 보니까 재밌게 했던 것 같아요. 근데 마지막 영상 찍을 때는 뭔가 긴장해서 잘 못했지만 그 내일 모레도 계속 수업이 있어서 그때까지 안무를 잘 외울 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
저는 오늘 좀 무서웠어요. 처음.
아이고 걱정이
많아서 좀 어떤 춤 추는지 뭔가 어떻게 그 선생님이 가르쳐 주시는지 그 걱정보다 좀 재밌는 그 마음으로 가지고 그런 수업을 받을 수 있었던 것 같아요. 내일도 그 재밌게 할 수 있도록 열심히 하겠습니다.
마지막에 토모야가
좋은 마무리 해주실 것
네.
같아요.
네.
재밌게
재밌게.
재밌게 오늘 소감을 가볍게
그거는 이따 보자. 오랜만에 약간 다 같이 춤추고 땀 흘리고 그냥 선생님 힘 넘치고 우리도 그러니까 우리도 지면 안 되겠다.
NEXZ.
응? 어?
5, 6, 7, 8, yeah.
네, 무시하세요.
네, 열심히 하고 같이 열심히 하겠습니다.
열심히 하겠습니다.
Have they debuted yet? I don't think they have. Some people are saying that they haven't debuted yet. Fun. I bet they're sore. They modified the voice.
You said okay? Yes. Okay. Oh, he knows? He knows? Oh, really? Yes. Okay. They start from the top.
Oh. Oh, so she filled in for him yesterday. Got it.
오늘 하루에
You know, that, oh, hold on, let me get a minute. Okay, cool, he's more in focus. That reminded me a lot about, some people don't really know what it's like to watch people, like the person behind the camera. They are moving about as much as those that are dancing, just making sure they get the shots that they need. So Kirsten, I really empathize with that. Now, not as much fast of the pace, but I definitely have dealt with difficult terrain on one of my concept shoots that I was a director for. And it knowing and making sure where rocks were, where logs were, that I wasn't going to trip over something, but also making sure everybody's in the shot and I'm not over tilting or anything like that is really tricky. So I totally empathize with whatever was going on in her head in that moment. And not enough people record, honestly, not enough people record people who are filming like that, because you got to give them more props where props is due.
아무래도 시작? 처음이잖아. 네. 어때요? 재밌어요. 좋은 영상을 들을 수 있도록
저희도 열심히
It turned out great. Cute.
파이팅 해야지.
Oh, that's actually pretty good. Nice. That was good. That was good. Go on the air flare, my guy. Yes. Wow. Love it. So we'll be adding that in 1,000%.
And you guys?
팝핑
I knew it. Because when he did this, I knew it.
Yeah.
팝핑 락킹 하우스
Ooh, nice.
since 4 years.
So good. Wow. Oh, so you know the house group. Yeah.
The Jack, yeah.
베이식 원.
I love it. No, for me, I love it's so different. No, for real. I don't think people really understand the impressiveness of that. So for him to only have 1 year of basic training, but to be able to do choreography the way Kirsten had it and with the language barrier and all of that, that is very impressive. So, I mean, because for me, I'm trying to think through, like for my own students, it just depends on the amount of, the type of rigorousness. So that also would show you the type of perseverance and hard work he would need to have gone through in order for him to have that expedited amount of progress in a short amount of time. It's about consistency, but it's about your perseverance and your grit. And so that just showcases a lot of that here. Very, very impressive. More than you realize. That is really, really great. Yeah.
오랜만에 완전히.
Since all seven gathered.
요새 제가 없어서
Bless him.
어제 제가 몸 상태 좀 안 좋아서 수업 못 들었는데 네 오늘 처음 들어보니까 진짜 재밌었어요. 키는 어땠어?
나는 그 어제는 안무만 나왔는데 오늘은 구성 나왔고 뭔가 하면서도 팀에서 같이 하는 느낌이 있어서 너무 즐거웠어요.
이제까지 한 구성이랑 뭔가 완전 새로운 진짜 새로운 그러니까 재밌어 약간
이런 것도 있구나.
Now, there's different methods in how you can choreograph. So for this instance, Kirsten went with the method of teaching them content first and then teaching formation second. That could be one of multiple reasons. I can go off of my own personal experience as to why I do that. I do that a lot, especially when I set competition choreography, because I like being able to set content and seeing how the movement rests with the dancers. And then the following day, I'm able to gather my thoughts, see what the content looks like a day after. And it helps me honestly help promote, okay, this formation would look really nice with this type of movement quality. Because remember, Kirsten was creating the content in-house the day before. So of course she may not have a formation in mind, or she would be workshopping the formations in time. So it's not that it's not impossible, and I'm not even saying it's not even abnormal for people to set content and formations at the same time. It just depends on who you are, the type of way you work as a choreographer, the type of dancers you have, the turnaround time as well. So it sounds like they have 6 days. That is a long time. I'm actually very surprised. Let me tell you and put it this way. Kirsten comes from a background of royal family. They would change their entire set going from prelims of Hip Hop International into semis of Hip Hop International. That is about a day to 2 days tops of a difference, because prelims expand a couple of days and then your semis normally take a day and then there's a day break and then finals. Just depends on the year. At least in the time I was there, that was kind of the format. Now, in Kirsten's case, that's why a lot of people who come from the royal family background are really good at choreography retention of really high energy pieces. It's because that was part of the day-to-day that they dealt with. Does that make sense? That they went through. So I think it's so fascinating that we're operating with 6 days to get all of this done. I was honestly expecting it to be a 2-day affair. Now, I'm not talking about it, the movement quality. There's a reason why it's that crisp and that clean. It's because they had time to refine it. But I'm honestly really impressed with Kirsten of being able, well, I mean, of course we're seeing it here, of being able to dive into the overall pacing of different environments because of her background. I feel like I'm learning more about her by watching this too, because I'm so used to seeing her in a very particular context. Outside of, and I'm talking about the Korean context, I'm talking about previously, before I even knew she was on Street Woman Fighter, that context. So I'm very it's making her respect her more, because you see, I'm just seeing so much growth from her as an individual and as a teacher. I mean, is she a teacher in this role? She's technically a choreographer in this role. She's not really an educator in this role either. Like, there's different roles depending on what you're doing. She's being a choreographer, so she is choreographing, and she's making, honestly, doing movement direction too. You know, creating the formations, but also making it practical to what kind of shot and what kind of concept they want to go with. So I love that she gets to kind of wear multiple hats here, and I think it's really cool that they get to experience that in this way too, because I think it benefits everybody. I feel like it's a really good way for Kirsten to be able to work with individuals who English may not be their first language, or just with very varied experiences, because you have people that have done breaking for 9 years and can do an air flare like it's nothing. Like, his technique, divine. Like, that air flare was crispy, I tell you. And then for popping, like, the fundamental of pops is a completely different wheelhouse than breaking, but they both come from different cultures, from the opposite sides of the country, of the United States, but it's still, they're both a part of that funk hip-hop sound, you know? Well, I would even equate it more towards, you know, popping's under the funk, and then you have breaking under hip-hop. Like, they're slightly different, but I just think that everybody's growing a lot in this way. But then, like I said, you have people that have such a huge amount of experience, but then you have some of them that have only been training for a year. Like, that's so different in how they're going to receive information, and also know somebody who has that house groove presence and someone who doesn't. They're going to move differently. So I'm actually very intrigued on if the cleaning process is going to be from the members cleaning each other, or if Kirsten's going to, like, step in and do some stuff too. I'm very curious about that. I love that. That was fun. Welcome to our channel. That was cute. That was a cute moment. So that was 2. So they have 5 days. 5 days. That's NEXZ. Bye-bye. That was fun.
I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Different room, I think.
He's going crazy with his trick, and everyone drops. Come on, as he's going.
What was he doing? Oh, he was doing to move to another practice room. That's a small room. Do I have mine? That made me want to put on. Got my Carmex. It's cold where I am.
하나, 둘, 셋.
I wonder how much time the rehearsals are. That makes me very curious. You can get this concept shot in 2 days. I'm curious, like, how much time they realistically had. 3 days for sure.
There's an N and a 1, 2. So where you at?
I love my girl in the back. Yes, lay down. I 1,000, yeah. I bet she took that easy. Yeah, absolutely.
오늘 재밌었어요.
재밌었어. 아니 매일 재밌었어.
오늘 약간 디테일도 맞추고 포인트를 가르쳐 주시고 그냥 춤추는 느낌 맞아요. 재밌었어요.
배울 게 많이 많아.
Good day.
네.
Scrumptious.
Scrumptious.
Ice cream was?
Scrumptious. Cute. That was cute.
It's so fast that the feeling is how you want to do it. Then your hands are just adding to it. And 5, 6, 7, and a 1. Come on, come on. Woo-hoo!
I was able to catch that. Yeah, that was fun.
We go 5 and a 6 and a 5, 6, 7 and a 1 and a wall. Tap, 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 and a 6, 6 and a wall.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, I see how she got that visual now. How she got it, because I was saying something that I was really impressed with the fact that you were able to see them. There was always somebody facing front. It's because it was a circle formation. Duh. That was so freaking smart of her to do that. Yes, ma'am. Pop freaking off with that.
We try?
Okay.
Yeah, try it. I love that she just like, yep, love that. They got to add the snaps in. I bet that was really fun. That was fun. Let's go. She does say that pretty often.
복수를 나도 많이.
수고하셨습니다.
어땠어요? 진짜 재밌었어요.
근데 재밌다고.
인생 처음으로 뭔가 춤추면서 진짜 인생
For the first time in my life. Top 3 most fun experiences. Oh, I love that.
포인트요.
일단 첫 번째 유의 people.
It's breaking, it's b-boying. So we actually, I do need to state this. So we don't use the term break dancing. It's technically not correct. You would need to use either b-boying, which is what they say, or breaking. The reason behind that, let me actually go double check that. That is true. I just need to be able to tell you why. So please hold, and I'm going to go do some digging for the both of us, and I'll let you know in a second. Okay, did some digging for the both of us just to make sure I have my ducks in a row about it. So the term breaking, the reason why we call it breaking is because you're dancing to the break of the music. Whenever you think about the Bronx in New York, the MCs and the DJ, what they would do is they would take 2 records way back in the day, and they would have one of them play, and once it gets to that end of that dance break, the next would begin. And so that's how you got that prolonged section, or like a dance break. So dancers who would dance to the break of the music were called breakers, not break dancers, because that term came about with the media when they were trying to figure out. And here's the thing, this is one of many sources. Please go be curious about this. That's all at the end of the day. I hope I'm a motivator for that. What I'm saying is not the end all be all. There's many facets and many different interpretations of this, but the key thing is this. With breakdance, it was mostly introduced by the media or individuals who are outside of the culture. But people within the culture would call it B-boy or B-girl, but the B would stand for the break. And some people would say it's even Bronx boy and Bronx girl because breaking came from the Bronx. but a lot of that may insinuate more of where you're from and not quite the style itself. So a lot of people would associate b-boy, b-girl with break boy, break girl because they're dancing to the break of the music. And so we call it breaking, not break dance, because that can come across sometimes as you're not of the culture, because when you're of the culture and understand the historical context and understand the actual like reference of being in the culture and being a breaker, you would know not to call yourself that. Does that make sense? It's the equivalence of somebody, if you do something and you're known for doing that thing and then it becomes publicly known, but they tack something onto it because they don't know 100% because they're not of the culture the way that you are. It's a bit tricky, you know, it's a bit tricky to navigate. And so if you're an individual who really appreciates breaking, I would advise you to, a really great step in the right direction would be to call it breaking, and not attach the dance to it as well. I remember, what was it? The media, I would say, like, because breaking is in the Olympics, a lot of times when people, you would say, okay, there's a style called breaking, they may not understand what you're saying, but then whenever you say break dance, they'd be like, oh, when you spin on your head. And for us, as all of us who are dancing, if you're a dance enthusiast, that can definitely be an area where you can help grow your own in particular community and culture by calling it something that's more appropriate to the culture in which the name is coined in. You know what I mean? So that's just a little side thing that I'm noticing in this translation. It's a media thing as to why they do that. And some people are kind of indifferent to it. Others are more sensitive. So that's just kind of a thing. If you want to be considerate to the actual breaking culture, you would call it breaking. So that's my little tidbit there. So if you notice in the subtitles that they call it break dance, they technically don't call it that.
뭔가 아까 영상 보니까 너무 멋있어가지고 다른 멤버들 혹시 추천하는 부분이
Bend over.
이 방 진짜 많이 연습했어.
난 진짜
어려워 진짜.
아버님 조금 더 열심히 하세요. 감사합니다.
Good. Let me also say this one more time, just in case you didn't catch it the first time. The boys, used the correct term. They said b-boying. Like they used that. They didn't say breakdancing. So I want you to know that I'm not talking about them. I'm specifically talking about the subtitles that came across our screen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Day 4.
This duration interaction. I'm a tough.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd be happy with that too. Wow, that was crisp. You notice how crisp this is now? I bet that makes her really happy too. Ugh. I would be happy to have a group like this working on my stuff. Goodness. That's cool. My gut tells me they're not working more than 2 hours a day on this. Like, I'm saying maybe the guys are. I'm talking about them working with Kirsten. I really don't think they're working with her longer than 2 hours. Except for maybe shoot day. Because it goes back to what I said. Like, a lot of the content that they're doing, I really don't think that Kirsten, but here's the thing, it really just kind of depends on the person, but I'm just going off of an educated guess off of her background. I would assume that she is able to make decisions or to able to like know what works and what doesn't work because of her natural experience in the field. I personally, what I'm curious about the most is the timestamps of how long each rehearsal was, because I will be shocked if these rehearsals were longer than 2 hours a day. You know, that's still a long time to be working on stuff, but also once again though, it's like, for me, it's about the consistency. It's better to do a shorter amount of time over a lot of days than doing a big chunk of time and not a lot of days, because it allows your brain to rest, recalibrate, and it allows the movement to sit in your body a lot better. And so I always prefer that. It just takes longer and it's just more scheduling. But I do find more what's the word? You do end up seeing an expedited kind of progress when people train on something over the course of multiple days and not just all in one day. You know, it's about the quantity it's the quantity and the quality and what you do with it, not just get it all out of the way, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's nice. I think if anything, that's why it turned out so freaking clean. It was great.
감사합니다.
유인이다 목소리 들으니까
She's probably doing like some basic cleaning stuff. God. Yeah, they used to not be able to do that. Love it. Yeah, I agree. Come on, sir. I would call that an implicit skill. What he's doing, that air flare, it's because of how he trained. That was a muscle memory thing that he can do right there.
Enjoy the process, and we're gonna absolutely kill it. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Yay!
다른 스타일 좀 배워서 진짜 많이 도움이 얻던 것 같고 너무 감사합니다. 감사합니다. 사실 저는 좀 슬퍼요. 5일 동안 배웠던 그 기분이나 그런 뭔가 춤을 나중에 그 제가 춤출 때 그 뭔가 살릴 수 있도록 열심히 하겠습니다.
I'm assuming he's the one that's only been training for a year. I cannot pick him out easily. I can't, and that's impressive. The fact that you got people training for almost a decade in certain fields. I mean, all of them are fish out of the water. All of them are fish out of water for the style. But the fact that you have the individual that's only been going for a year, you can't find him initially. And they're not modifying movement for him either. It's freaking impressive. Impressive. These are not easy syncopations or polyrhythmic movement sequences that we're seeing in this. It's not. She didn't... I don't think she really held back on the track at all. Gosh, all their energy, they held it freaking down. He needs to be so proud of himself.
Very, very enjoy dancing.
Very, very enjoy dancing. Because, yeah, Harlem Shake.
Shaking.
Harlem Shake.
So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, they're at 1 mil. Oh, they're in the big space. I wonder if Kirsten texted Leah, hey, can we use your space? She'll be like, sure, girl, go for it. That would be me. I'd be like, oh, I need a space. Hey, Leah, can I use 1 mil? Wow. I was wondering whether alphas are familiar. It's because that's what's in the shoot. Now here, notice, I mean, they're going over it, but they're not like running it, I don't think. Unless it's time to shoot it. Probably a mark through. For sure. Because it's not going to change that much from the day before to the day now in comparison to day 1 to day 2. Day 5 to day 6 it's going to be more minor in your changes. What was it? I don't remember. Oh, I love it. They've never been? Well, I've never been. I technically haven't been yet either. But guess who's going to Korea in March, and I'm gonna be taking some classes while I'm there. If they got a nice lineup of classes on the days I'm available while I'm over there, I may stop in for a t-shirt. I think would be fun.
귀여운
It's
건강한
Kirsten? No, she is.
느낌을
She was literally there.
한 저를 보여드렸는데 이번에는 좀 멋있는 연기를 보여드릴 수 있는 거 보여드릴 수 있습니다.
Okay, so I just looked at the kind of gimbal they had. I don't think it's a gimbal. I think it's just a, oh my gosh, what do we call that? So I have a device where I can hold a camera on it, and it's just like a holder. It's not a stabilizer. Like, that camera is not stabilized, I don't think. It's just where they can hold it with better grip and be able to get the angles you want to get and not have to hold the camera like this. But I don't think there's a stabilizer on that bad boy. You know how I know? Because you and I both watched that take, and you could see, I mean, I can tell based on how he's carrying it, you could see all these movements, and you and I both saw those movements in this. Now, I already told you, I said, you know, it can match the vibe, and it does match the vibe to a certain extent on this type of track, which is absolutely fine. You know, I mean, for me personally, I had a 0.75 it, not because the movement was too dense. It's because the camera work was so like that I couldn't really see what the movements were as clearly from an analytical standpoint, you know. But once again, it matched the vibe and the essence. But I was just very curious as to how what kind of stabilizer. They didn't use a stabilizer, I don't think, on that, or gimbal on that. Maybe something that had a field monitor attached to it, which is a bigger screen that you can plug into that camera. That's what I think it was. There ain't no way that was no crane. That was none of that. Oh, it's his birthday today. What's the highlight of his outfit? Oh, is his face? Funny. Headband. Soul. 10 out of 10. Yeah. Now that's a gimbal. Okay. So I guess they did it on two different types of camera ops. You had one that was more raw, and then you had that one that was more clean. No, it is stabilized. Good job, my guy. What in the world? Okay. I'm too curious. I'm pausing for me, but it'll be real quick for y'all. I was so freaking curious. Okay, here's the deal. Most of their video, I had to like literally go back and kind of go through it and see what in the world. Because that camera that they just had, we gotta go back a second. If you see how he shot it, that's like, for me, it's called a gimbal, right? It's a gimbal, it's a stabilizer. And I just said, literally, look, that's a stabilizer, meaning that it's the device is meant to, you know, if the camera can stay fixed and you move it however you need to, that's a stabilized, that's a gimbal. He has that in his hand right there. And when I went and looked back, this section does have some keyframe like moments in it based on how he moved, but it's smooth. The only part that's so freaking shaky is the part I literally said, that's not, I don't think he has a gimbal on that, because I could see based on how the type of way, I would be shocked if it's the same camera as what he used for the little groupings, because that was so freaking shaky. Like, I'm holding a camera in my hand, not like this, not like a keyframe mess with a stabilizer. They're two different things. I highly implore you to go look, and if you do videography or if you work with gimbals, please tell me the specs on that, or not specs, but like, please tell me if I'm like really not looking at it right. I will be shocked if that little group, like a group of 3 with a group of 4, if they've shot that with the same stabilized camera as what we're seeing here. Because when I did the comparison, they do not look like the same. And the part that I had a 0.75 was that exact part that I had made that reference to. So I'm saying that right now. I still feel that way. Am I right? I wasn't there. I can tell you right now, though, that is a stabilized camera, meaning that they got a smooth shot. And when I went and looked, that's a smooth take they had. All this part right here with the little crunch action, all of that definitely was shot on that, for sure. I can definitely agree with that. It's that one part that I saw every little nook and cranny of that movement from that camera guy, and that camera was not nearly as stable as what we're seeing here. I'm sorry, like, yeah, man, you let me know. Am I even close? That's just what it feels like, though. Yeah, that's stabilized right there.
뭔가 처음에 했을 때는 첫날 때는 진짜 길게 느꼈었는데 지금 촬영하니까 시간이 순식간에 가는 것 같아요. 진짜 짧아요. 오늘 촬영하기 전에 촬영하기 있었는데 그래서 하다 보면 재밌고 분위기도 그러니까 약간 편하게 촬영할 수 있었던 것 같은데 잘 찍었던 재밌었어요. 제가 처음으로 여기 스튜디오 나오고 다 같이 춤추고 계속 찍고 보고 하면서 좋은 거 나올 때까지 계속 하는 게 재밌었어요. 좋은 생일이에요.
Love it.
Thank you for bashing the body so
Fun. Wow. Ah. Oh, I love that. Oh, cute. That was funny. I'm so glad they took care of that before. But now, you know, ever since I saw what I saw, let's just briefly look at this together so I don't feel like completely wild. Alright. This is smooth. This is on a gimbal and they just move it over. That's fine. These are all controlled shots that are being made. Not a problem. Yeah. I did a freaking great job. And honestly, too, now that I'm looking back, now let's take a look at this, at the mirror. Wow. Because if you look, They freaking masked it. Look at this. They masked this, I think, or they did something here, because look who you can't see in that reflection. You cannot see the camera guy at all in that reflection. Even 1mil videos, you're able to see that sometimes. I caught it in one of the concept ones with some of the teachers. It was freaking sick, but it's so, when you deal with the studio with mirrors, it's so hard to not get your camera. There is no way they didn't edit this or did something to this to where you can't see your camera person. That is freaking impressive. That right there. I swear to you. This part, smooth. Look, it's a gimbal, right? You know what I mean? But now it's the part. Let me see. This, I'm still impressed with this. They just made it a circle. I can't believe I didn't catch that. Okay, ready? This part. You see what I'm talking about, right? That this section specifically has no smoothness about it. I mean, we'll even slow it down. I know I sound paranoid. You could totally skip this and go to the outro. But notice, there's way too many of these. And even as he's walking, you can feel the reverb of how they're walking. And then it goes, then it's smooth. Do you know what I'm talking about? And they're doing zooms and that kind of stuff, and that's different. So if anything, that helps marry the two together. But I mean, I could bet you an entire $1 is really what it feels like, that little section right there. And I even looked, it didn't look like the same setup either. I swear to you, this is not the same camera setup. Like, that's not the same. I don't freaking know. Anyway, I mean, y'all didn't watch this for this. You watched because I already have a video on this. But that's just, I really felt like I had some follow-up questions. That bothered me the most about that whole video. What camera did they use? Now I think I feel better, but then I also feel like I have more questions too. Thank you guys for going on my mini goose chase regarding the camera op a little bit here. And I apologize if I'm still wrong even after doing all of that. This was really fun for me. A very different type of behind the scenes. This very heavily affiliated and fixated on them learning the choreography and kind of the overall ebbs and flows of the process of what each lesson each day consisted of. Very impressed at their perseverance in it. Of course, it's a really nice experience for them too to be able to work with Kirsten. For me, I think it'd be a great experience for myself as well. It's different. She's a very different style than myself personally. I tailor more towards waving and contemporary elements with that type of aesthetic in choreography. And for her, she really, her niche is very marketable in the commercial sense, and with a lot of groups. I think a lot of groups can learn a lot from her, and it's really nice to see this here. And if you want to see me actually do a full analysis of the choreography, I do have that. You can actually see it right down there. It's kind of a recommended right there. So it's there if that intrigues you. I'll put it in the description of this video as well. Like I've said, I've been following Kirsten through Street Woman Fighter, but even way before that for her time at Royal Family. So I'm very familiar with her movement quality. I'm familiar with what is implicit in her fingerprints of movement prior to her even making any forms of waves or ripples in the Korean scene. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing her growth as more of a leader and a teacher and a mentor, because that's something that, you know, I feel is a genuine calling, and I really like how she's been able to step up to the plate and be able to help so many different people from all over the world. And I love being able to see it in these glimpses and in these snapshots. So once again, I'm Jazz. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope I was helpful in some way. Who knows? And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye.